welcome in to another edition of the High Noon Rant with me, Pugs Moran, every day, Monday through Friday. Rant. I'm going to give you the hot topics, the current events, the trends, headlines, whatever it is that people are talking about. I'm going to list them for you here every day at noon. Here's my hope for you. At the end of this little adventure, we're going to all know pretty much everything that there is to know about the world today. That's right. We're just going to give you, here's what we're not going to do. Excuse me. We're not going to spend a whole bunch of time getting into politics. Blue, red, Republican, Democrat, liberal, conservative. We don't care. We don't. That's nonsense to me. We talk about all the other stuff. There is so much stuff going on in this world that has nothing to do with Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez or Matt Gaetz. Oh, it would blow your mind, the stuff that there is to talk about. So that's the conceit of this show. We try to do a form of talk radio that is not really existent anymore. It's just talk. We did everything in talk radio now. A guy like me, I've been doing talk radio since 1992. Been working in major market American cities, doing popular shows. Can't do that anymore. Can't do the kind of talk radio that I'd done, that I grew up on. Now it's all, now dudes do talk radio. They show up for talk radio shows wearing shirts and ties like it's the 1960s. They used to do that in the 60s. Not me. I come from the radio era where you show up in a concert t-shirt and you do your show that way. James Parker, the guy I do the show with at night, the Radio Misfit show. He's the kind of dude that would show up for a radio show in a shirt and tie. He is. He's that kind of different generation. We're a couple of years apart. Anyway, we try to do old school talk radio here. Community format talk radio. The kind of stuff that, you lean over your fence post and have a nice little conversation with your neighbor about. Not the stuff we got today with take that yard sign down. I don't support that. That kind of stuff. No. So that's what we try to do here on this show. So please, if you support that kind of show, we do run this show according to your tips. That's right. We've been on the air every day for over 2 years now. It's your tips. It's your tips that help get this show across the finish line. But folks, here I've got very bad news for you. We did not make the finish line this year. We are at the 3rd of the month. And we're as far back as we've been. Yesterday, we were at $200. I said we need to make another $200 by Thursday, by start of show Thursday, $200. We did well. Today's executive producers, thank you so much to, where's our executive producers? Oh, wait a second. Oh, I didn't even put up our executive producers for today's show. People who supported the show yesterday. Where is it? Did I not? There we go. Look at this. It's Mike D and Byron. That's right, Byron. Thank you, Byron. Mike D and Byron, they got us a combined $30 yesterday. That means we're now 170. Now we need to make 170 this show and tomorrow's show, and then we can continue on. So if you can help out the show in any way possible, that would be great. Drop it in the Cash App, drop it in the Venmo, do whatever you got to do, but keep this show going. Thank you so much to our producers of today's show, Mike D and Byron. All right. What else do we want to talk about here? God, it's gorgeous outside. Have you been outside today? I was outside earlier today. Oh, it's just so gorgeous. Let's see what it is right now. Actually, I don't know what it is right now. I've been inside for about an hour. I was out there this morning, sitting on the back porch. 81 degrees. No, 85 degrees. There we go. 85. I can live with 85, except we know it's going to get a lot worse than that. All right, let's check in with the chat room. What's going on with the chat room? We got a small chat room today. Adam is riding his bike, so make this show fun. I'm going to try, dude. I'm going to try. I don't know. Frank is here. Adam is here. Did I do something wrong? Because we've got a much smaller group here than we normally do. I don't understand it. I understand why that is happening. Where are my people? Where are my people that I count on? I count on you people to be here. And, well, I count on you to tip too. And you have done that. Thank you so much for supporting the show. But at the very least, I count on you to be here. Cameron's here. There's my guy, Cameron. There's Barney. There's Frank. We got Adam. I don't see my girls. I don't see my Leslies. I don't see my Aprils. I don't see any of my dares. I see my Leslie. There we go. There's Kevin. Kevin is here. All right, whatever. Let's get started with today's show. What do you say? Let me give you a good stretch. Try to think if there's anything off the top of my head that needs to be discussed before we get into the day's news. A small talk segment. I don't think so. I think we're good. I think we're going to move forward. Hold on. Boom. There we go. All right. It is the High Noon Rant. I am Pugs Moran. I deliver this to you every Monday through Friday at high noon, the High Noon Rant. That's why we call it that. It is the 3rd day of October, year of our Lord 2023. October the 3rd, I'll have you know, it is the 276th day of the year. There's 89 more of these until the end of the year. 89 more days. So get those New Year's Eve plans started. All right. First, here's how we do the show. Yeah, we're going to give you all the hot topics, current events, and trends. We're going to give you all that, all the stuff that's popping off right now. We're going to give you that. You got to wait, though. You got to wait because in order to truly digest what it is that's occurring in front of us today, we must have an understanding, a firm understanding, a 30,000-foot view, if you will, of the way things have transpired in the past. So we do a little segment that we start here at the top of the show. We like to call it Erstwhile on this day. If you're more comfortable, you can just call it Previously On, but I call it Erstwhile because I'm fancy. Erstwhile on this day, events that have shaped our perception of this day throughout history. On this day in 1919, the Cincinnati Reds, they trotted out a pitcher named Adolfo Luque. He became the first Latin American player to appear in the World Series. Now that's interesting because they didn't say in a regular game. I guess they were letting the Latin American players play back then. They actually let black guys. They let black guys play like in the very early, like 1918, 1919, 1915. Like back then, they let black guys play. They called them Cubans. And somehow that was like, all right. They're like, oh, what do you mean he's not black? He's Cuban. Yeah. So some guys got through that way. This guy, I don't know who this guy is. I've never heard of this guy. But on this day, the first Latin American pitcher took the mound in a World Series game for the Cincinnati Reds on this day in 1919. On this day in 1952, erstwhile on this day, the United King. Slow it down. I just got to slow it down. The United Kingdom successfully tests the nuclear weapon in the Montebello Islands. That's in Western Australia. It became the 3rd nuclear power nation. So that was 1952. We let the Brits have our nukes, and then they became the 3rd. It was us. It was Russia. How did Russia get it? Is that a story? Is that a story that I should know that I don't know? Like we did it first, right? Were they doing it at the same time? Like how do I don't know. That's so weird. It's like, this has never been done before. We're inventing something that's never been done before. But then, coincidentally, our chief adversary on the other side of the globe, they're also doing the exact same thing that has never been done before. What's that about? I don't know. It was on this day in 1952. The United Kingdom went nuke. On this day in 1957, the California State Superior Court rules that the book Howl is not obscene. This is a landmark ruling. Howl, Allen Ginsberg, poet, provocateur, Beat Generation guy. Howl was, there were some naughty words in there, and they tried to say, this is not something college kids should be reading. And of course, now it's a classic Allen Ginsberg. There you go. On this day in 1957, California Superior Court said that Allen Ginsberg's Howl is not obscene. It's just poetry. It's just artsy fartsy. On this day in 1962, Project Mercury, U.S. astronaut Wally Schirra on board the Sigma 7. He's launched from Cape Canaveral and he orbits the Earth 6 times. 6 times they went around. He went around and around and around and around. Very cool. Big deal. Not so much now because, but back then, big deal. On this day in 1995, here's another big deal. What was the biggest deal of 1995? This might have been it. I don't know what else happened in 1995, but I can tell you that I remember exactly where I was when this happened. I was furiously working tape trying to make sure that I had 2 giant Ampex reel-to-reel machines in the back of a recording studio, and there was a live feed coming over, and we didn't want to miss it, but we had only a specific amount of tape, so I couldn't record dead air. I couldn't record, so I had to get it right at the announcement. And what was the announcement? Well, it was on this day in 1995 that O.J. Simpson was acquitted of the murders of Nicole Brown Simpson and Ronald Goldman. Oh, my God. Oh, boy. I got it on tape, and then I ran that tape down the hallway. I had 2 bundles of tape in my hands. I'm running down the hallway. Gung, 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 gung. Boom. I burst into the on-air studio. The host turns around. He looks at me. He's like, what are you doing? And I'm like, it's important. And boom, I slap these tapes on. I cue them up in my headphones. walk over to the microphone and I say, we've got a verdict in the O.J. Simpson trial. Oh, and that's how radio was done back in the day. Now it's just a dude on a laptop going doot, 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 boop, and hitting a button. Nah, not then. Back then, we had to catch it off a satellite. We had to record it. Then we had to move that tape to another room. Oh, it was great. I was completely shocked. I was way into the O.J. Simpson trial. Here's why. I was like an associate producer on a morning show, and the morning show decided that they were going to make the O.J. Simpson trial a very big part of their daily show. And we did, covered it every day. Everybody did. It was like a phenomenon. So because of my low level on the staff at that point, I was put in charge of the OJ stuff. So I used to just sit in an office with a bag of chips while the show was going on, just watching the OJ trial, just taking notes, just little notes, little things that happened that I thought were interesting. It was on this day in 1995, O.J. Simpson, he was acquitted. All right, let's talk about some birthdays. Bonum, bonum, bonum. They claim it's their birthday. Yeah, they do. They're saying it's their birthday. So these are people celebrating birthdays today. Let's run down them. Let's talk about what they did, whether or not we think they're cool or not. Okay, born on this day in 1925. This could be a quick one. Gore Vidal. Nobody knows who Gore Vidal is. Nobody should know who Gore Vidal is. He's been dead a long time. Gore Vidal was an author. He's a provocateur. I've said that twice now today. My fancy word allowance is kicking in. Excuse me. Gore Vidal was an author. He occupied a place in American celebrity that doesn't exist anymore, or it's been crowded out by Instagram models and YouTubers who apply makeup. There used to be a category of famous person in this country. Not rock. We have rock stars, athletes, movie stars, TV stars, stage actors, comedians. Right. Those are the categories. Another category. And that category was called the public intellectual. The public intellectual was a category of person that would go on talk shows. They were famous. They were famous for being famous, but really they were famous for being smart. They were famous because if you had a talk show with a couple of starlets and maybe a heavyweight champ, but the host wanted to talk about something a bit more significant, you'd drop a public intellectual in the middle of it. You would drop a Gore Vidal, born on this day in 1925, in the middle of a conversation between a Muhammad Ali and a Tippi Hedren. That's just how it was. We don't have those anymore. Gore Vidal was famous. He would go around. Oh, geez, I just lost my internet. Did we lose the internet all over or just on this one? Seems to be just on this one. Gore Vidal made it his bit to basically go around on talk shows and get into fights with who was the guy he fought? Oh God. It's not F. Lee Bailey. It's a name like that. It's like a fancy rich guy name. Not G. Gordon Liddy. Not F. Who was the guy that Gore Vidal would debate? Gore Vidal would debate Buck. Hugh Morris. Christopher Hitchens is maybe the last example of a public intellectual that we had. Christopher Hitchens been dead 20 years, so that shows you how that slot's been filled by the Kardashians of the world. Who was the guy? It was Gore Vidal versus Humperdinck Goobelstein. William F. Buckley. Thank you, Frank. I knew that Frank would have it. William F. Buckley. All right, Gore Vidal, born on this day in 1925. Born on this day in 1941, Chubby Checker. Come on, baby! Chubby Checker, the twist. That guy, Chubby Checker, as big as he was in the 50s, he probably died in like a 3,000 square foot ranch house somewhere outside New Orleans. I'm sure Chubby Checker never made the money Chubby Checker should have made. Born on this day in 1941. Born on this day in 1949, here's a guy who made a lot of money. I don't know if he's funny. He was made funny by Saturday Night Live because they turned him into an ongoing bit. But it's a happy birthday, born on this day, 1949, to Lindsey Buckingham. Lindsey Buckingham of the Fleetwood Macsters. Lindsey Buckingham, he was always on that, what was it, the Barry Gibb show? Remember, who's the guy? I don't know. Jimmy Fallon used to do the Barry Gibb show on Saturday Night Live. And their guest was always Lindsey Buckingham. Lindsey Buckingham was always, they never had time for him though. Lindsey Buckingham always sat on the couch, and it was always Bill Hader. Oh, sorry, we didn't have time for Lindsey Buckingham. And Bill Hader would be like, Happy birthday, Lindsey Buckingham. Cool fun fact about Lindsey Buckingham. he got to kiss on Stevie Nicks when she was at her cutest. So there you go. He's got that. Can never take that away from old Lindsey Buckingham on this is 70-something birthday. Born on this day in 1954, the Eck, Dennis Eckersley, American baseball player, sportscaster. He had the mullet. He used to come out to basically he didn't invent it because it had been a slow creep towards this becoming a more high-profile position in baseball. But he was right there, the epicenter of the era of the closer, when the dominant closer became a thing in Major League Baseball. Dennis Eckersley, who for years and years was a middling, number 2, number 3 starter on a bunch of rotations in baseball, just suddenly decided to go into the pen, become a closer, and Dennis Eckersley became the most dominant closer. How many World Series he win with the A's? Oh my God, they used to just trot him out there. He was badass. Dennis Eckersley, born on this day in 1954, born on this day also in 1954. Here's someone that I hate. I'm always going to hate this guy. This is a bad person. I like to say I'm a good judge of character. This is a bad person. Al Sharpton. It's Al Sharpton's birthday. I stopped watching MSNBC when they gave Al Sharpton a show. When they gave Al Sharpton a show, I said, oh, okay, so this absolutely no credibility here. This is like, Al Sharpton was a guy, I mean, if you I don't care what you think of Al Sharpton of the last 20 years. I remember Al Sharpton with Tawana Brawley. I remember Al Sharpton and what he tried to do in the city of New York in 1980. When was it? He was terrible. It was bad. He was just, ugh. Anyway, happy birthday, Al Sharpton. He was really big and fat, and then he lost a lot of weight, and now, I don't know, now he looks kind of like a California raisin. Al Sharpton, born on this day in 1954. Also born on this day in 1954. Boy, there's 3 of them here. 3 umbilical cousins. We had Dennis Eckersley, 1954, Al Sharpton, 1954, and Stevie Ray Vaughan. Stevie Ray Vaughan, born on this day, American singer, songwriter, guitarist, and producer Stevie Ray Vaughan. Crashed his helicopter into the only mountain in the Midwest. He crashed Alpine Valley. I love it. I love the Alpine Valley. Alpine Valley is a concert venue outside Chicago. It's just across the Wisconsin border. It's in Alpine Valley, Wisconsin, and it's in the ski resort area of Wisconsin. And it's not so much mountains as much as it's a valley. Like, it's not so much that the mountains, the hills rise up as much as the ground kind of drops down. So there's ski resorts in Alpine Valley and all that kind of stuff. They're not really mountains. It's just that it's all valleys. And the concert venue is in the middle of this valley. And Stevie Ray Vaughan, as acts often do at Alpine Valley, they'll get in a helicopter backstage. The helicopter will take off, and in 20 minutes, you're at the Four Seasons in downtown Chicago. So, you play Alpine Valley. And that's what Stevie Ray Vaughan did. He jumped in his helicopter. It was a particularly foggy evening in the Alpine Valley, and the helicopter rose up, didn't go up high enough, and then started on its way and crashed broadside right into a ski lift, right into a ski hill. Stevie Ray Vaughan, born on this day in 1962. Be fascinating. He's one of them dudes. It'd be fascinating to see if he had lived. Like what? We get these guys, right? The Kurt Cobains, the Jimi Hendrix, all these people. What would they have done if they had John Lennon's? What would they have done if they had lived? He's one of them. Stevie Ray Vaughan. He was ascending to a height that he had never achieved just as he passed away. Apex death. Died at the apex of their whatever it is, talent. Hold on. Stevie Ray Vaughan, born on this day in 1954. Born on this day in 1962. Big old Tommy Lee. Happy birthday, Tommy Lee, drummer for Motley Crue. Big old crank. We all saw it in the Pamela and Tommy Lee video. Skinny guys like that. I mean, I could have told you. I've been in enough locker rooms. I know what tall, skinny, lanky guys like that are packing. Tommy Lee, born in 1962. Born in 1969 on this day. Here's America's Girl Next Door. Oh, my God. She's America's Girl Next Door with an edge, though. She's got like an edge. Like, she'll party with you. Happy birthday, Gwen Stefani. Gwen Stefani, born on this day in 1969. America's Girl Next Door with an edge. America's Girl Next Door, who could score you weed. That's who Gwen Stefani is. She's a cheerleader, but she can also score you weed, which is cool. Gwen Stefani, born on this day in 1969. Born on this day in 1973, Nev Campbell. Nev Campbell, what was she, Party of Five? Did she do a movie? Didn't she do a hot movie where she made out with another hot girl? Denise Richards. Did she make out with Denise Richards in Wild Thing? Is that really all that's worth mentioning about Neve Campbell? Is her shower makeout scene with 19-year-old Denise Richards? Oh, they were in their prime, both of them. Anyway, there you have it. Happy birthday, 1973, born on this day. Neve Campbell. Born on this day in 1984, Ashley Simpson. Boy, both the Simpson girls have kind of evaporated, right? But Ashley, what happened with Ashley? It was like Jessica Simpson was big, like really big. They were like, you like Britney? How about this? And then they gave us Jessica Simpson. And we had to put up with Jessica Simpson for about a year. And then they were like, hey, we got another one, and she's got brown hair. And it was another Simpson, but it was Ashley Simpson this time. And she had brown hair. And she was slightly different than Ashley, or Jessica, but also same. And then she went on Saturday Night Live and she did that thing where she got caught lip syncing and people were like, she's not real. And it's like, really? This was, you didn't realize Ashley Simpson was just some manufactured Pop-Tart. You had to have this hiccup on Saturday Night Live for you to go, oh, so I guess she's not Madonna. No, she's not Madonna. What happened to Ashley Simpson? She kind of just faded away. That was like it, right? Like it was like the embarrassing Saturday Night Live thing and then no more hits and no more nothing. And anyway, there you have it. Happy birthday. Born on this day in 1984. You peaked, baby. Ashley Simpson. It's probably still kicking around. Where are they from? Richardson? Where they Carrollton, Richardson, somewhere like that. They go to J.J. Pierce High School, The Simpsons. Is that where they went? I don't know. Whatever. All right, there you have it. Those are the people who have been celebrating birthdays. They claim it's their birthday, and who am I to push back on that? The newspaper agrees. Let's go with people who died. That's right, dead people. We run through a list of people who have died on this day, and we talk about their contributions, and then we sit in judgment. We decide based upon our own understanding of heaven and hell. Where did they go? So we give you a person, we tell you they died, and then we talk about whether or not they're in heaven or hell. First off, dead on this day in 1838. Gonna spend a minute on this guy because I like this guy. I know a little bit about this guy. A lot of people don't know a lot about this guy, but I know a lot about this guy because where I'm from. This guy's very big where I'm from. He died in 1838 on this day. Ladies and gentlemen, we're talking about American tribal leader, warlord, Black Hawk. That's right. Black Hawk died on this day in 1838. So Black Hawk, who's Black Hawk? Black Hawk was a badass Indian chief, and not a chief, warlord. He was a leader. He didn't go in. He didn't come from any sort of ancestral tribal chief line. His father, Black Hawk's father, was a medicine man, a very successful medicine man within the tribe, a very powerful, wise man within the tribe. That's sort of where he came from. So he got to be a tribal leader by leading battles. That's who Black Hawk was. Now, Black Hawk fought for the British in the War of 1812. He fought against the Americans. Black Hawk lived in Chicago, basically. He lived in the Midwest. He lived in all of that area. That was basically his domain. Black Hawk was captured by the Americans in the 1820s or whatever. And then he was taken on a tour of East Coast cities where they just put these Indian tribal chiefs in chains and then brought them up on stages and were like, look, weirdos. It was like that kind of thing. Here's why we talk about Black Hawk. Black Hawk is a man. Black Hawk is a man of accomplishment. Black Hawk is a man who is revered in Wisconsin, Iowa, Illinois, even in Indiana. Those are the areas where Black Hawk, the man, is known to be this great leader, this great champion of his people. Okay. That's the understanding of Black Hawk. So, everything Black Hawk is named after this guy. Okay. And now remember, make the distinction. It's named after this guy. Black Hawk was a guy. Black Hawk is not a tribe. Black Hawk is not a group of indigenous people who are being exploited. Black Hawk is a guy who's being glorified. Black Hawk is a dude. The Chicago Blackhawks. That guy on that Hawkhead, that's Black Hawk. That is not a generic Indian. That's a guy. The Chicago Blackhawks are not wearing a generic Indian and going, look, we still call them Indians. No, That is a tribute to an actual man of accomplishment. And that's why whenever people are like, well, why don't the Blackhawks have to change their name? Because it's not the Indians or the Redskins. It's just not a generic term for it's about one guy. People who understand this. The Black Hawk helicopter is named after this one guy. The Atlanta Hawks, the basketball team, named after this one guy. The Atlanta Hawks are named after Black Hawk, just as the Chicago Blackhawks are named after Chief Black Hawk. The Atlanta Hawks were originally the Quad City Blackhawks. They were originally the Atlanta Hawks were an NBA team in the Quad Cities, which is where Black Hawk is from. The Iowa Hawkeyes, the term Hawkeyes, that's not a bird's eye. That comes from Black Hawk in the state of Iowa. All of that stuff. I'll give it to you. So basically what I'm trying to say is, I always have to, make this distinction whenever people start talking about why'd you get rid of Redskins? Because calling a group of people a Redskin is a pejorative. It's a negative. It's a you group of people. You aren't individuals. You are a thing. You are a bad thing. So I get it. It bothered me? Not really. Did I demand that they think? No, I don't really care about that stuff. But I get it. I mean, I understand the argument. Yeah. That's like having a team called the Memphis N-words, right? It'd be like, well, we started calling them that in the 20s and it was fine. Yeah, but it's not. Okay, so just Chicago Blackhawks are named after Chief Blackhawk. Here are some of the things of, all right, notable examples. Several places names, including Black Hawk County, Iowa, Black Hawk Bridge between Iowa and Wisconsin, and the historical Black Hawk Purchase in Iowa are named for Black Hawk. 4 United States Navy vessels were named the USS Black Hawk. The 2nd Squadron of the 1st U.S. Cavalry is named the Black Hawk Division. The Chicago Blackhawks of the National Hockey League derived their name from Black Hawk. The Atlanta Hawks were named the Tri-City Blackhawks in the inaugural season of the NBA in the Tri-Cities, Quad Cities, Iowa. Iowa's state nickname, the Hawkeye Steak, was originally adopted in 1838, paying tribute to Chief Black Hawk. The Sikorsky 60 Black Hawk helicopter is named after Black Hawk. And then a whole bunch of schools and towns and all that kind of stuff. So Black Hawk, when it's applied, it's not a racist thing. It's not. It's about a guy. It's about one guy and going, wow, look how cool this guy was. All right. So where's he? Black Hawk's in heaven. Black Hawk's in heaven. He was a cool guy. He had a mohawk. The mohawk. That's the other thing. He popularized our understanding of the mohawk. When we think of the Indian with the mohawk, that was Black Hawk. Black Hawk had the mohawk. He was badass. All right. Dead on this day in 1967. How about Woody Guthrie? This land is our land. Right? Woody Guthrie, great American communist and singer of great American songs. Woody Guthrie, where is he? I don't know. I guess it depends. Depends on what you think about dudes who think the union worker is getting a bum deal. And it depends on what you think of a guy that just champions the middle classes. Of course he's in heaven. This is my show. Woody Guthrie's in heaven. Call him a communist if you want, man. He was just freaking fighting for the rest of us. Dead on this day in 1998, Roddy McDowell. Roddy McDowell, I get confused with Anthony Perkins. Or is it Tony Perkins? I don't know. Did he go by Tony Perkins or Anthony Perkins? I don't even know. But they I confused the two of them. Here's where Anthony Perkins was in Fear Strikes Out. He played Jimmy Pearsall, and he was in Psycho. So I got that. Roddy McDowell was in Planet of the Apes. Yeah, Roddy McDowell died on this day in 1998. He was like the main ape. He was like the nice ape. He was the good ape that we all liked in all the Planet of the Apes movies. Roddy McDowell. Born on this day, dead on this day in 1998. Roddy McDowell, he went to heaven. Right, let's put him in heaven. Dead on this day in 2004, Janet Leigh, American actress. Janet Leigh, Tony Curtis. They created Jamie Lee Curtis. Yeah, put her in heaven. Janet Leigh. Wait a second. Was Janet Leigh in Psycho? Was Janet Leigh? Because I just talked about Anthony Perkins being in Psycho and confusing Anthony Perkins with birthday boy Roddy McDowell, but they're not the same person. And the next person that's having a birthday is Janet Leigh, who was in Psycho with Anthony Perkins. How weird. How weird. Roddy McDowell. Put him in heaven. What? Roddy McDowell's in heaven. Janet Leigh's in heaven. We don't care. All right, here's one. This is a fun one. Well, it's not fun. I mean, he died young, but it's fun because we all have. Well, some of us anyway, if we've seen the movie, we have an understanding of who this guy is. Dead on this day in 2014, Kevin Metheny. Kevin Metheny, dead on this day. Hold on. Barney says Redskins wasn't pejorative. It was English word natives used for themselves, considering it's boy, you listen to a lot of right-wing talk, don't you, Barney? That's not true at all. Redskins was a pejorative the white men used to basically paint Indians as savages, as they were covered in blood. It's not redskin from the sun. It's they were covered in blood. That's where it comes to say it's not a pejorative. Stop it. Of course it is. The question is, are you okay with it in 2023? My question is, yeah, I'm okay with it because it seems like such an old, but don't be disingenuous and pretend like it's a compliment. Stop it, man. You can understand why some overly sensitive Native American might be like, I don't like when they call me that. I mean, I get it. I might respond to that person with toughen up, buttercup, but I get it. To act like it's completely absurd is a bit disingenuous, Barney, and you're better than that. You're better than that, Barney. Of course it's a negative. Now, Cleveland Indians, right? Let's talk about the Cleveland Indians. Is that a pejorative? No, that's not a pejorative. That's just ignorance. There's a difference there. Calling the Cleveland Indians, you aren't saying anything bad about native or indigenous people. What you're simply doing is labeling them incorrectly because they're not Indian. So that one's a bit more ticky-tack, I think. That one's like, eh. So what do you go? So the complaint of Native Americans are, we're not Indians. Columbus went the wrong way. He thought he was in India. He called us, we're not Indians. Yeah, but you really kind of are though now. Because that was like 1492. So that was like 5. So we've changed. So obviously that word is different meaning now. So I like, people are like, oh, the Cleveland Indians need to change it. I don't think Cleveland Indians need to change their name. I think, I also have an issue with Chief Alinowick at the University of Illinois. That's always been a big one because Chief Alinowick is like a dude who comes out and he dances and it's fun because we're white people from the suburbs and it's an Indian guy, Here's the problem with Chief Alinowick. Chief Alinowick ain't a real guy. Chief Alinowick is a cartoon character. It was just a guy that was created to represent this team, and so then you got a problem there. But Redskins is definitely an insult. You Redskins. Nobody said, "Oh, I love my Redskins." Nobody ever said that. I mean, not in terms of dealing with Native Americans. I mean, it was always like, "Goddamn Redskins," That reminds me, I saw this guy. Man, I hate to do this. I hate to tell people's jokes, other comedians' jokes, without giving them credit, but I can't remember the guy's name. Who was it? I think it was. Actually, no, I think it was during a podcast interview. All right, never mind. Let's move on. Because I want to talk about this next guy and whether he's in heaven or hell. Barney says, I grew up shoulder to shoulder with Native Americans in Oklahoma, and I'm listening to them. Cool. Cool. You listen to the ones you grew up. That's anecdotal at best, but that's fine. That's fine. I went to school with somebody who was what did they call them? They were like Indian royalty. She was like a princess or something, but whatever. And they still had money. Like the family had like done the right thing throughout the hundreds of years. I don't remember ever having conversations with her about the Washington Redskins, though, so I don't know how she felt. Sorry. But no, that's fine. Look, man, that's all you can go on. Barney's fine with the Redskins being called the Redskins because Barney grew up with some Indian dudes who were fine with it, and that's anecdotal at best. But that's fine. That's his understanding of the world. All I'm saying is I don't give a shit. But if somebody who is Native American goes, yeah, that's kind of offensive, I go, okay, yeah, I can see why it would be. And I move on. I'm not going to get into this big argument. I don't give a shit. Call the teams whatever. I don't. Redskins was a cool name, but again, All right, so I want to talk about this next guy because this next guy died on this day in 2014, and this is a fun one. Yeah, Hugh, language does evolve. Language does change, but so does society's understanding of what is and isn't acceptable. You know, it's like we find this a lot now. It's like we're judging guys in their 60s for things they did in their 20s. It's different time. I mean, I think if it's objectionable enough, you know, you never allow someone to get away with some great harm, but I don't know. I don't know. He grabbed an ass in 1985. Should he never work again? I don't know. It was 1985. All right, dead on this day in 2014, Kevin Metheny. Kevin Metheny died on this day. He was an American businessman, it says here. It describes him as an American businessman. He was born in 1954. Kevin Metheny died on this day in 2014. Where's he going? Heaven or hell? Who's Kevin Metheny? Kevin Metheny is most famous because he's Pig Vomit. That's right, Pig Vomit from the Howard Stern Private Parts movie. Immortalized by Paul Giamatti. Paul Giamatti called him Kevin. I forgot what his name was in the movie. They didn't call him Kevin Metheny because it was a composite, but Kevin Metheny was in fact the WNBC program director when Howard Stern was at WNBC in New York. And Paul Giamatti has essentially said that, yes, he was playing Kevin Metheny. This was difficult for Kevin Metheny because Howard Stern, this movie came out in what, 98, 97, something like that. Kevin Metheny was still working in radio when all of a sudden everybody in the world knew him as Pig Vomit. And he was still a boss places. He was a program director places. He ended up at WGN in Chicago in the late 2000s. I mean, crazy. Here's what I know about him. I know a number of people. He became quite famous after the Howard Stern movie, especially in radio circles. Anyone that ever worked with him was willing to tell stories. Here's what I know about Kevin Metheny. As we know him as Pig Vomit. Total piece of shit. This guy was awful. The stories that I've heard about this guy. First of all, the way he was depicted in the Howard Stern movie was how he was before the Howard Stern movie. After the Howard Stern movie, apparently it went straight to his head where he thought that he was one of the titans of radio. And he was even more difficult to deal with because not only was he emboldened by this sudden fame, especially within radio, well, I'm Pig Vomit, that's right. Everybody be afraid of me. Like he leaned into that. But it was also now there was like this level of insecurity where he felt he now had to overcome. Oh, he was brutal to people. He was not a good boss. Kevin Metheny is in hell. Pig Vomit. Dead on this day in 2014. Dropped dead of a heart attack. All right, that's going to do it. Those are all of the things, the prerequisites for this day. Now we're going to move into all of the things that are making this day memorable in and of itself. That's right. We're going to run through all the hot topics, the current events, and the trends. We're going to run through them here as quickly as possible. Today's show is brought to us by Mike D and Byron. Thank you so much. They tipped the show yesterday. Help the show. We're about $170 after them last night. As we know, $170 over the next 2 days. And I can tell you that this show has never made $80 a show, $85 a show. This show, we've never made $85 in a day. So I don't know how we're going to do that. So anyway, tip the show if you can. Help out. I'm going to leave that up for the rest of the show. And we're going to run through all. And again, this is about if you support this kind of talk radio, non-divisive, political bullshit aside, just kind of all the other things. And I say that, and the first story is about the Speaker of the House of the United States Congress. And you know what? It's nothing but political nonsense going on there with the Speaker of the House. You got Kevin McCarthy. He's got no power. He's got a completely fractured caucus. I don't know how that, remember, it took him like 20 times to get elected Speaker. This has been a train wreck of a Congress. They're doing absolutely nothing. You've got activists in every corner. There are activist congressmen in every corner just completely. So today, Matt Gaetz is going to move to have Speaker McCarthy removed, right? His own people. I don't know what the Dems are doing. What are the Dems doing? They just sitting there watching this? Or are they going to get involved on some level? Because what happens when you get rid of McCarthy? Who is the compromise candidate? There is no compromise candidate. You're not going to get somebody who's more malleable to working across the aisle and doing the duties of a Speaker of the House more so than Kevin McCarthy. Not at this point. Nobody reasonable is going to get the votes, okay? So it's going to be a freaking crazy person. So that's going on. Our Congress is a complete mess. And just outside Congress, how about this? A congressman got carjacked last night. You see, a congressman got carjacked. Texas congressman is the victim of an armed carjacking in Washington, D.C. Now, this is what I always say about congressmen. This is why Congress is so... The most famous congressperson, the most well-known congressperson in Congress should be your congressperson, but it's not. Most of you don't even know who your congressperson is. You know who you do know? If you live in the Oklahoma 4th, you know who you know? Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. That's right, a junior rep from Queens or wherever the hell it is that she's from. You don't know shit about the guy that's actually doing stuff with your town, but you know all about her. So we got this congressman. He's a Texas congressman. He represents San Antonio. Never heard of him. Never. Do you know how many? There's like 400 people in Congress. Actually, I don't know how many people there are, but there's a lot of people in Congress. We know 10 of them. You shouldn't know the 10 you know, is my point. The 10 you know, you shouldn't know. They don't affect you. This guy's name, I've never heard of him before. Representative Henry Queller of Texas was carjacked Monday night about a mile from the Capitol. His chief of staff confirmed the incident in a statement and said he was not injured. As Congressman Queller, I don't even know that I'm saying his name properly. It's Cuellar. Cuellar. Queller. As Congressman Queller was parking his car this evening, 3 armed assailants approached the congressman and stole his vehicle. Luckily, he was not harmed and is working with local law enforcement. Thank you to the Metro PD and Capitol Police for their swift action and for recovering the congressman's vehicle. Washington Metropolitan Police said an armed carjacking was reported about 9:30 in the Navy Yard neighborhood of Southeast Washington. Reached for comment, U.S. Capitol Police spokesman said in a statement that Washington police were investigating an armed carjacking that happened around 9:30 in D.C.'s Navy Yard neighborhood. The victim has been identified as a member of the United States Congress. So the United States Congressional Police has investigators working with the Metropolitan Police Department on this case. Injuries were not reported. Detectives are working to track down the suspects. All right, so here's my point. Henry Queller. He's a congressman from a couple miles from here, San Antonio. He's a Texas congressman. Never heard of him. Why? Because he's probably a decent congressman. Because he probably just does the business of his district. Doesn't get him on Newsmax every night. Doesn't get him on Fox News every night. Because he's probably actually doing shit. Crazy. Every time something bad happens to a congressman, you've never heard of that congressman, and it should just remind you that you don't know the right Congress people. You know the ones that you're being ginned up to hate. Stop it. Look at me. I hate Matt Gaetz. He's in Florida. Why do I even know who he is? He has no power. Doesn't he sit on a committee now? All right, so maybe he's got some power now. Anyway, point is, I shouldn't even know who this guy is. I don't know who my congressman is here. Who's my highfalutin congressman? And I know my congressman in Chicago is Robin Kelly, and I love Robin Kelly. And you've never heard of Robin Kelly. Why? Because Robin Kelly only does the business of her district. She doesn't screw around. She's not trying to use the Congress as some sort of a stepping stone to the private sector, like people like Boebert are doing. Lorena Boebert's going to end up with like a $700,000 a year job when she leaves Congress. Think about that. Ugh. Anyway, so congressman got carjacked outside of a congressman we've never heard of because he's probably a decent congressman. That's seriously, if you've never heard of a congressman, they're probably either doing something really wrong and they're trying to stay under the radar, or they're just, really a good congressman. And I don't buy this bullshit. They're all corrupt. They're not all corrupt. They're not all corrupt. Some of them have good intentions. The system may unwittingly corrupt people who would otherwise be thought to be incorruptible. But I'm just saying, they're not just this. That's too reductive and it's too thoughtless. They're not all bad. There's got to be somebody good out there. Keep looking. I don't know if this is the guy that got carjacked, but I'm just saying he's off to a good start because I've never heard of him, which means he's not a grandstander. Husband on the hood. Okay, this is a fun story. So this comes out of the Smoking Gun. This is this is big old angry. Okay. A woman drove with hubby atop car hood for almost 7 miles at 70 miles per hour. With her husband clinging to the hood of her car, a Missouri woman drove for more than 7 miles through a construction zone and across an interstate before pulling over while being chased by police. Investigators say that Stephanie Boyd, 38, and her 31-year-old spouse, so 38, 31, got into a verbal argument that turned physical while inside their St. Louis residence on Thursday. All right, so let me show you this girl. Let me show you. let's get a look at a lady that would drive 10 miles with her much younger husband clinging to the roof of her car. She was raging, obviously. She was in a bad mood. All right, here. I'm going to show you this picture because I like the look on her face. She's like, here you go. All right, there she is. Okay, so here, we'll share that with you. Boom. There she is. All right, that's 38-year-old Stephanie Boyd. She drove all that distance with her 31-year-old husband clinging to the roof of the car. She's paying the bills, right? 38, 31. That's what's going on there. He's like 31 is probably, first of all, he doesn't know when to let go of a car roof. When she was pulling out of the parking lot, he should have slid off. You don't want to hang on. So he's been with Stephanie. He knows Stephanie's nuts. He knows Stephanie's not going to stop. He's still hanging on. Let's see here. Investigators say that Boyd, 38, and her 31-year-old spouse got into a verbal argument that turned physical while inside their St. Louis home. Stephanie Boyd then got into the couple's auto to leave while the victim was on the hood of the vehicle. Okay, so he's like, baby, don't leave. Baby, don't leave. Right, so he's clinging to the hood. Baby, don't leave. And she's like, I'm leaving. I ain't paying your bills no more. Let's see here. While the victim was still on the hood of the car, the man apparently thought that Boyd would not drive away if he was splayed atop the car. Well, he thought wrong. He doesn't know Stephanie. Stephanie's hardcore. However, Stephanie Boyd left the residence with the victim still on the hood of the vehicle. Traveling recklessly at high rates of speed, Boyd made her way to Interstate 70, which she sped on for about 4.6 miles before exiting near St. Louis Lambert International Airport. At one point, a police officer gave chase after Boyd drove past him with her spouse on the car. While the pursuing squad car lights were flashing, Boyd drove an additional half mile before pulling over. Well, I mean, he's fine, So, I mean, things could have gone wrong. I mean, really, what's the crime here, right? A little domestic disturbance. Should she go to jail? Should she go to jail for this? Should she be taken away in headphones? Yeah, take her away in headphones. That's it. All right, there you have it. Coming to us out of San Francisco. 38, 31. She's paying all the bills. She probably goes to work every day. He's 31. He's probably all skinny. He's probably skinny. I bet you when he was splayed on the hood of the car, I bet you he was wearing blue jeans that were like hanging down below his butt and no t-shirt, no shirt. He was shirtless. I'm picturing this guy shirtless. He's got dreads too. He's got dreads. He's shirtless wearing blue jeans that are falling down. That's who I'm picturing. That's 38-year-old Stephanie. She's had enough. She's tired of this guy. All right. Zelda Williams is making news. Who is Zelda Williams? Zelda Williams is Robin Williams' daughter. Zelda, that's a weird name. That's a very F. Scott Fitzgerald kind of name. Robin Williams' daughter Zelda is upset because AI. She doesn't like AI. Here, look at this. Let me show you this picture. There's a picture here of Zelda Williams walking with her father. So this is obviously a few years ago. Man, she doesn't look like him at all. And at the same time, looks exactly like him. This is Robin Williams' daughter. Look at the smile. The smile on Robin Williams' daughter is the exact same smile. It's a Robin Williams smile. Boom. All right. Here you go. Boom. All right. So there's Robin and Zelda. Look at this. Look at this face. I mean, it doesn't look anything like Robin Williams, but then boom, look at the smile. That's crazy, huh? What's going on with Zelda? Is Zelda a they or a them? This is years ago. Maybe Zelda's got a different haircut now. I don't know. But, this is years ago. I don't know. I got to find out about Zelda Williams now. Is they a thems? Is they a thems or is she a her? Zelda Williams. Let's see. Oh, no, never mind. She's definitely a her. All right, good on her. Well, not good. I mean, her choice, her life, right? But what I'm saying is, okay, and she's terrific. All right, good. Very well done. It's just a little pixie haircut she's got here that makes her look a little bit, gender fluid, if you will. But she's not. I'm looking at pictures of her, and she is quite obviously a woman. She dresses like a woman. And she seems to be close friends with Jim Carrey. That's interesting. Okay, so why is Zelda Williams trending? Well, she's trending today because she's speaking out about the use of her father through AI. Artificial intelligence is mimicking Robin Williams and bringing Robin Williams' voice and his thoughts and all these things back. And Zelda Williams is saying, yeah, no, that's not cool for me because, see, that's my dad and he's dead. And he didn't say those things. I don't know. She's just got an issue with it, and I can't blame her. I mean, I couldn't imagine having somebody, that you love, your father, somebody that you love unconditionally, and then having them taken from you, but then also having to share that loss with the rest of the world who was all like, oh, Robin Williams. And then, other people who don't necessarily have that same kind of attachment to him that you have, because you've got the special blood thing. They want more, and they're like, oh, let's bring Robin Williams back to the dead. But then how would you be like if you were her? Yeah, I don't necessarily want my dad being brought back from the dead. That's kind of not comfortable for me. Zelda Williams has spoken out against artificial intelligence, claiming that she's seen it used for years to mimic her father, and it hurts. Legendary comedian Williams, who was famed for roles in films such as Mrs. Doubtfire and Dead Poets Society, died by suicide on August 11th, 2014. Now, amid the 2023 SAG-AFTRA strike, which has been ongoing since July, his daughter, Zelda, 34, has spoken out against the use of AI to recreate actors and her father. Actors and screenwriters have been on strike. Okay, so this is more about that. Anyway, she doesn't like it. There you go. We don't have to spend a whole lot of time on this. I feel comfortable. I didn't know what Zelda's Williams's thing was, and now I feel comfortable that, okay. Moving on, Zelda Williams. Let's see. AI porn is another story that's going around today. AI porn. There are concerns, AI porn, that you can basically make anybody. Hasn't this been a thing for like 20 years? Where badly edited porno with celebrities, oh, look, you can see Princess Diana having sex, right? Stuff like that. But it was always bad and the bodies didn't match the face. Well, so I guess they're good at it now, and AI can really kind of artificially make. I don't know how this stuff is. I don't know. Here's what I know. Excuse me. Now I'm gonna domino sneeze. Now I'm gonna sneeze like 10 times in a row because I don't just sneeze once. Hold on. I'm fighting back sneezes. Hiccups, sneezes, we fight back all these things. So here's the thing about AI porn. People don't like, let me get rid of. Boom. There we go. Undress anybody. AI puts A-list deepfakes in adult films and nobody is safe. That's the headline. Artificial intelligence is being used to put beautiful A-list stars in X-rated films in the form of scarily accurate deepfakes. Experts are warning no one is safe after the likes of Taylor Swift and Natalie Portman were targeted. Natalie Portman? I mean, Taylor Swift I get. Natalie Portman, what kind of old perv is working to insert a 45-year-old woman? And Natalie Portman is not. What? That's weird, right? That's so I think we know at least the age group of the dude putting this together. There's no 25-year-old making AI porn of Natalie Portman. They're just not. Experts are warning no one is safe after the likes of Taylor Swift and Natalie Portman were targeted. Activity on forums dedicated to using AI to undress anybody and place stars in adult movies has doubled. All right, so I get it. I would look at this like Taylor Swift. Okay, oh, Taylor Swift was put in an AI deep fake porn. Okay, so let me look at it. So I'm looking at it. I guess it's interesting in how real does it look, right? I mean, that's what I'm watching. I'm watching how real does this look? Because you see, I am constantly reminded of the fact that it's not real, that there is no actual sexual titillation going on here. This is not real. So for me, like the whole concept of AI porn takes me out of it from the beginning. I know it's fake. It's not real. The whole idea about, as I understand it, and I'm not really a big sex guy the way most people are. A lot of people say that I need to get my testosterone checked, but whatever. As I understand it, it's about the fantasy, right? So you have to sort of buy into a fantasy, and I don't know that having the hurdle of it being known AI, known deepfake from the outset, it's too much for me to get over. I just think I'm going to be like, yeah, it's fake from the beginning. So I don't know, and it's not like who is the victim? Who is the victim if Taylor Swift is put into a porn movie by AI? It's not Taylor Swift. It's her face. Okay, so her face. But it's not her body. Nobody is seeing her boobs. Nobody is seeing her have sex. Nobody's saying that's not happening to her. That is not happening. The perception might be that it is, but we all know it's fake. We know that it's a deep fake. So I don't know. Embarrassing, irritating, yeah. But I mean, what is the real victim here? I mean, other than the actual woman putting in the sexual performance of a lifetime whose face was removed so that Taylor Swift's face could be, she's the victim. She's not getting credit for her sexual athletics. All right, AI porn. Abercrombie and Fitch is trending. Remember Abercrombie and Fitch? You like wool sweaters? Oh my God. You like a sweater you can't wear outside? Yeah, because if you do, it's going to get ruined. Abercrombie and Fitch. I always hated Abercrombie and Fitch. God, what a D-bag store that was. You'd walk by and there's always just like shirtless dudes in blue jeans just standing there. Like, what are you? You're like real models? Yeah, we just stand here. I'm like, okay, cool. Good job. I go to the mall to look at hot girls, and then there are dudes who actually get paid to stand shirtless and have hot girls crowd around them. I hated Abercrombie and Fitch. I hated their whole vibe. And guess what? I was right, because they are skankalicious. Abercrombie and Fitch is in the news because the guy who made the Abercrombie and Fitch was like an outfitter for hunters and stuff like that in Ohio until like 1990 when this dude took it over. This guy took over Abercrombie and Fitch and turned it national. And he turned it trendy. He turned it from, like hip waders and, wool sweaters for fishing. He turned it into like something rich kids in the suburbs would, spend all their parents' money on. Abercrombie and Fitch launches investigation into former CEO after sexual misconduct claims. That's right. Clothing brand Abercrombie and Fitch says it's investigating allegations against its former CEO. Dude by the name of Mike Jeffries. Mike Jeffries has been accused of exploiting men at sex events he hosted around the world. All right. So the guy who took Abercrombie and Fitch from a place that sold hip waders and wool sweaters to a place that had, 17-year-old shirtless boys, hairless, shirtless boys standing in front of their entrance at malls across America. That guy was throwing sex parties? No, that guy doesn't seem weird. A BBC investigation has found an organized network used a middleman to recruit young adult men for the events with Mr. Jeffries and his partner, Matthew Smith, with some alleging they were sexually abused. Mr. Jeffries and Mr. Smith did not respond to requests for comment. Basically, what he would do is he would have these parties at the Hamptons and he would invite all these young male models who all wanted to be Abercrombie and Fitch models. And he'd get them all there at the house, and then he'd give them all drugs, and then he'd basically make them all have sex with each other. Like he directed them to have sex with each other. A lot of times he didn't have, these are the charges. And then they'd get brown paper bags with $10,000 in it and they'd leave. That's the 8 men who attended the event said that they were recruited by a middleman who they described as having a missing nose covered with a snakeskin patch. That's weird. Okay. Half the men told the BBC about their recruitment, alleging that they had been initially misled about the nature of the events and not told that sex was involved. All right, so here, what was going on at these parties? Here we go. Give you a little bit of. Men who attended these Abercrombie and Fitch events told the BBC that Mr. Jeffries and Mr. Smith, remember Mr. Jeffries is the CEO of Abercrombie and Fitch, Mr. Jeffries and his lover, Mr. Smith, Mr. Jeffries and Mr. Smith would engage in sexual activity with about 4 men, or they would direct them to have sex with each other. Afterwards, the men said staff at the events handed them envelopes filled with thousands of dollars in cash. David Bradbury, then 23, said that he was introduced in 2010 to Mr. Jacobson by an agent who described him as the gatekeeper to the owners of Abercrombie and Fitch. Well, look, if you want to make money by just standing around without a shirt on, and you're like, well, this is an easy way to make money, I imagine there's some other things you're probably going to have to do. I don't feel sorry for these male models who went to the Hampton summer home of some rich gay guy who owned Abercrombie and Fitch. They went to this guy's house in the hopes of getting a job. They went and they did crazy, weird sex stuff. I don't see the crime. I mean, I'm sorry. I don't see the crime here. It's weird, right? Like, I'm not into like gay sex parties and all that kind of stuff. But if you're a rich guy and you can have gay sex parties and everybody wants that, doesn't sound like anybody was forced. Well, unless, now you get into the, well, we went there for a job. Well, did you get a job? Sounds like you left with an envelope filled with money. All right. I still don't like Abercrombie and Fitch. I just don't know what this is about. All right. How about this one? It is National Taco Day. National Taco Day. There are all kinds of taco deals. Is there any taco deal going on here? Wait, let me check. I got a taco. I'm a fat guy, so of course I've got a Taco Bell. There it is. Taco Bell app. Let me see if there's any National Taco Day deals. Huh. Doesn't look like it. Tuesday drop has arrived. All right. Doesn't say anything. It did. Boy, I'll tell you. It's a missed opportunity. Taco Bell, right there on the front page of their app. Should be about National Taco Day. Taco Bell can't celebrate National Taco Bell Day or National Taco Day. Why should I? So let's move on to the other day that it is, which is the one I want to talk about anyway. It's National Taco Day. But also, it's National Boyfriend's Day. Have you ever heard of this day before? I have never until this morning heard of National Boyfriend's Day. And there was a news story this morning where it's National Boyfriend's Day and now to talk to us about what being a good boyfriend is. I saw one of those. Then there's a bunch of stories going around. All right, National Boyfriend's Day. That's today. I don't know what you're supposed to do. Here's a good thing to do on National Boyfriend Day. Leave your boyfriend alone. Do not have any contact with your boyfriend all day long until like later tonight, and then offer him sex. And notice I say offer him sex because maybe you don't want it. This whole idea that all men want is sex. All men just want it. That's so nonsense. Stop it. My wife never gives it to me. There's all these. Stop it. There are people with normal sexual relationships. Not everybody is, So that's it. Yeah, make them tacos. There you go. Combine the two. Make your boyfriend tacos today and then offer him sex. Offer him sex. And don't be all freaked out if he's like, yeah, you know what? I just want to watch SportsCenter and go to bed. It's been a long day. He may want that. I might suggest that the passion is gone from your relationship if that is the case. But, there are other things more important than passion in long-term relationships. So get to work on those, like communication and personal attachment and, just love overall, All right, National Taco Day and National Boyfriend Day. I don't know what National Boyfriend Day means. Hey, how about this one? Here's a bad boyfriend. This guy's a jerk. This guy's a total jerk, but he is making the news today because he has been cleared. Another one of these guys taken down by a misguided attempt from some lady looking to cash in. Trevor Bauer. trending now. Trevor Bauer, baseball player, plays for the Dodgers. Played for the Dodgers, doesn't play for now he plays for like the Yokohama Giants or I don't know, somebody over there in Japan. Trevor Bauer is a piece of garbage. Trevor Bauer's a jerk. He's always been a jerk. He's had trouble in every locker room that he's been. Teammates don't like him. Nobody seems to like him. Trevor Bauer's a hell of a player, though. He's a really good pitcher. He can throw a baseball, that's for sure. But again, reiterating, piece of trash. Nobody likes him. Trevor Bauer's an a-hole. I find his social media breakdowns, he does baseball breakdowns, I find them to be wildly entertaining. And I'll tell you this, after baseball, well, I mean, after all of this stuff goes away, he could have a career in media because he's really good. He's really good. Bauer Outage is his page on Twitter that I follow, where he breaks down different kinds of pitches and all that stuff. I love that stuff, though. I love Bauer Outage. I love Pitching Ninja. That's Rob Friedman's side. I love all that stuff. Anyway, he's a very good pitcher, but he is it's not even debated. He's a jerk. People don't like him. So he wins the Cy Young, and then he goes to the Dodgers on a big deal, like $50 million, some crazy big giant deal in baseball. He goes over there. He's with Clayton Kershaw. The Dodgers are putting together just this unbelievable starting five rotation. Trevor Bauer's a part of it. And then he's there. He's pitching lights out first couple of months of the season, and a girl emerges, and she says that he raped me. She says that she comes out with all this descriptive stuff, and it sounds really bad. It sounds really bad because it sounds really bad in the beginning. This is what happened. He held me down. I couldn't go. I was so afraid. And, you're hearing it from a girl and, oh my God, this poor little baby. Oh, was nobody going to help her? That whole thing, the victim thing. And that all came out. And the Dodgers immediately, because me too. Okay, he's off the team. Major League Baseball does an investigation. We're talking about a guy, again, reiterating, a jerk. He didn't make any friends. There ain't nobody coming to Trevor Bauer's rescue because he's a jerk. But this girl is out there now, and she's saying that he raped her multiple times. Said that there were multiple occasions they'd gone out on a couple of dates. His career is over. I mean, he's basically done. It's like, holy shit, the Dodgers aren't going to pay him now. He's a rapist, all this kind of stuff. Major League Baseball suspends him for over 300 games. That was knocked down to like 100 and some games, but still an absolutely ridiculous suspension for this guy. Again, reiterating, he's a jerk. He's a jerk. In real life, he's an asshole. So let's just keep it all balanced here. So they suspend him and all this kind of stuff. Los Angeles police do an investigation. They say, yeah, there's no crime here. There's no crime. Still, Los Angeles police say, yeah, there's no crime here. But still, the Dodgers suspended him. Major League Baseball suspended him. He's sitting here. His name is trashed. And he's not able to say anything. He can't speak out. Meanwhile, other people are speaking out. Oh, he's a rapist. Oh, he's this, he's this. So he's got to sit there. He's got to be quiet. He eventually gets cut by the Dodgers. He signs over in Japan because no Major League Baseball team will touch him because he's suspended now for a period of time. And, it's America. It's me too. Japan, apparently they don't care. He goes over there. Dodgers paying $22 million worth of his salary over there in Japan. He plays in Japan for this year. Yesterday, apparently, Trevor Bauer made his return to social media. He shows up on Twitter and he drops a video. And in the video, he announces that all litigation between him and this girl, it's all over with now. It's done. And for the first time in 2 years, he can tell his side of the story. And oh my God, did he tell his side of the story? I don't know if we're going to watch the video. Maybe. I don't know. It's like a 4-minute video. But basically, he says, I can now, for the first time in 2 years, give my side of the story. Everything has been settled. There are no police. The prosecution in Los Angeles refused to file charges. The judge said that there was no cause for the civil case. So, I mean, all of this stuff was thrown away. There's no evidence other than this girl coming out and saying he raped me twice and blah, blah, blah. So yesterday he puts the video out. And in the video, he starts to share evidence that had never been made public before. Evidence that was not allowed in the court. Evidence that wasn't needed because the court just dismissed all of this woman's stuff anyway. But what he did was he showed text messages between this girl and other guys and other friends where she was talking about how much money she's going to take from her $51 million baseball player. She in another text, she talks to a friend about, you know what? I'm going to show it to you. And we'll just watch it. Here. Hold on. Ah, man, I don't know if I want to show it. It's so long. Yeah, you know what? I'm not going to show you guys can find it. Anyway, here's the bottom line. It appears that this woman completely set him up. It appears that this woman had every intention of trying to take him, to blackmail him, to whatever. He even showed a video. There was a video taken the morning that she was supposedly traumatized because he had raped her the night before. She took a video laying in bed with him the morning after he supposedly raped her. She took a video on her phone. She's laying in bed. He's laying next to her, and she's smiling and mugging to the camera. This is the very morning that she told police that she was traumatized because she'd been raped the night before. He showed the video. He's like, look, that's me sleeping right next to her, and that's her. This is the morning after she was raped. Look at her. She's not upset. She's like, look at my boyfriend. She's that terrible. So this dude, now, again, going back, Trevor Bauer's an a-hole. Trevor Bauer, nobody likes Trevor Bauer. He's kind of a jerk. But he didn't do this. And how much money did he lose? I mean, how much opportunity did this guy lose? Because this girl, by the way, she got nothing. She got absolutely nothing. Now, it also should be made clear that in the 2 years that this situation was going on, when he was over there in Japan and the police were deciding not to file any charges and prosecutors were deciding that there was no crime and the judge was dismissing these cases. While all of this was going on, a number of other women from other cities where Trevor Bauer played in stepped forward and said, yes, he also raped me. None of those went anywhere. They were all dismissed. They were all so right, but you need the full context of everything. So after this girl came out in Los Angeles and torpedoed his career, after this woman did that, then a bunch of other women came out. I don't know. What happens to this woman? There should be some sort of penalty. You can't, when it is obvious that a woman is using the tenor of the moment, this Me Too, women, there truly are bad guys out there. There truly are men out there getting away with, I don't know about they're doing it anymore, but certainly throughout the 80s and the 1990s and the 70s and beyond, men were playing grab ass in the office and there wasn't anything a woman could do about it. There are bad guys out there. We got one of them. We got one of them in the Howard Feinbergman. What's that guy's name, right? What's his name? The big giant guy, Harvey Feinstein, that guy. We got him. And that was big. But we can't exist in a world where every woman that accuses a man of doing something like this is infallible. Where every woman is, we must believe the women. No, we'll listen to the women. We mustn't believe the women. What is that? Look, we need to be smart about it. We need to listen to the story. I mean, she was sending text messages to friends talking about how much money she was going. She said, I'm going over to my $51 million ball player's house. What should I steal? Was one of the texts that she sent to her friend. So we know who this woman is. We know that there are women out there like that. And other women, I sit here and it comes off like I'm defending Trevor Bauer, who I'll point out again is a piece of garbage who I don't like. He seems like a bad guy. But he didn't do this. He didn't do this. When people do stuff, let the chips fall. He didn't do this. And he wasn't allowed to say anything. Baseball muzzled him. His attorneys muzzled him. They weren't allowed to use any of the information that he had. All of the text messages that he showed yesterday on his video. The actual video of her laying in bed giggling after she'd been raped. It's terrible. And, it happens to this guy. This guy's a jerk. So it's like, whatever. It's got to happen to somebody. May as well happen to him. Trevor Bauer, he's been cleared. And all of the, is he coming back to baseball? I don't know. He's a hell of a good pitcher, man. I would imagine he probably will. I imagine could he sue Major League Baseball now? They upended this dude's career. How many millions of dollars? Well, guaranteed contracts in baseball. Although, did he get the guarantee? I know that the Los Angeles Dodgers had to pay $22 million worth of his salary this year while he was pitching in Japan. I know that. All right. Moving on. Trevor Bauer story. How about Chipotle? Chipotle is making the news. People are very upset. You know why? Chipotle is doing it. Why not? I've been wondering why Chipotle didn't do this 20 years ago. Chipotle is replacing their humans with robots. That's right. You know, when you go to a Chipotle and they make your bowl, it's now going to be a robot. It's going to be I don't know what it's going to look like. I mean, I'm imagining a robot, but it's probably not going to be that. It's probably just going to be you put a bowl, you hit a button, and then you move the bowl. I don't know. I think we, the customer, are going to be involved in some way. I think we're going to probably have to move the thing to, I don't know. My son has very strict rules about Chipotle. Whenever we go to Chipotle, apparently I always embarrass him. I don't respect the sneeze guard, apparently. Whenever I'm like directing, because you know my burrito is a film. I'm directing this film. These people, you got to put this together. When I'm directing the creation of my burrito, sometimes I get a little overzealous, and I will raise my hand above the sneeze guard and point like that. My son freaks out. Put your hand down. Don't put your hand there. I'm like, what? What are you doing? It's like, don't respect the sneeze guard. And I'm like, okay, well, but I want to make sure that he knows. I want the corn salsa from the back there. Anyway, Chipotle is going to give you robots now. Chipotle is going to be all robot. Actually, in the beginning, they say it's only going to be for online orders. So there's just going to be like a crew of robots in the back, just making burritos and cranking out online orders. They say that when you walk into a Chipotle, you're still going to get a human. But it's coming. Slow creep of progress, man. There are going to be no ditches to be dug. In 20 years, no human's going to need, we're not going to need humans for labor for anything. It's just going to all be robots. And then what do? Then we're all going to be live streaming during the day. You know how many other shows there's going to be like this? Powerball is trending. We like to talk about the old Powerball on this show. Why? Because a boy can dream. That's right. Powerball. Oh my God. Again, if you win the Powerball, my people, please fund the show for at least a year. That's all I ask. I don't want to go crazy. You don't need to make me a billionaire or anything like that. You probably can't. But, drop like $1 million. And there you go. Venmo, Cash App, support the show. Support this kind of talk radio every day, Monday through Friday. Drop a little something if you win the Powerball. And here's why you could win the Powerball. Because nobody won it last night. That's right. Last night was 1.04 billion. I guess 1.04. The Powerball went up to 1.04 billion yesterday. There was no winner. So now when's the next one? Let's see here. Tomorrow. I guess it's Wednesday. Jeez, when do they do these? They do these like every couple of days. Powerball jackpot climbs to 1.2 billion ahead of Wednesday's drawing. An estimated 1.2. They're always over $1 billion now. Do you remember when it was like, we're going to get to $1 billion and we're all excited? Now we've had like jackpots over $1 billion 3 times, I think, in the last month. An estimated 1.2 billion jackpot is up for grabs in the next Powerball drawing on Wednesday night. It's now the 3rd largest purse in the American lottery game's history and the biggest so far this year. It's also the 7th largest U.S. lottery jackpot ever, this according to a press release. There you go. What are your odds? Well, we always do these. The grand prize has an estimated cash value of $551 million. All right, so now we're getting up over 500, half a bill. Because again, ain't nobody going to take the 1.2 billion in annuities. We're not going to take like yearly payments of 1.2 billion because I'm not sure this country is going to be a thing in 5 years. So I'm not going to, bank on you guys coming through and paying me. I'll take it all. So if you want to take it all, they're only going to give you $551 million. And that's before taxes. Then taxes is going to come in and take half of that. Seriously. Seriously. 1.2 billion, you're going to lose a bill. Seriously, if the number is 1.2 billion, when all is said and done, you're going to walk out with like $250 million. If you win 1.2 billion, you're going to walk out with $250 million. You're going to lose $1 billion. It's almost not worth playing. I know. 2 tickets purchased in Delaware and Michigan matched all 5 white balls to win $1 million in prizes. 2 other tickets sold in New York and South Carolina matched all 5 white balls and won $2 million prizes, including the power play. Who cares? All right, there you go. So tomorrow night, Wednesday, Powerball. There you go. There's a new thing. There's a new thing, and we're all on it. It's a thing that we all have. We didn't have it before, but this morning I woke up and I read this story, so now I know that we all have it. It's a thing. We're all on the internet addiction spectrum. That's right. We are all somewhere on the internet addiction spectrum. Where are you? Well, let's see here. The internet addiction spectrum is something that affects everybody. Hold on. Casual user or addict, where do you fall on the new internet addiction spectrum? That's right. It's brand new. Come on in. Where are you? They say the first step to getting help is admitting there's a problem. However, so many people nowadays, especially young adults, fail to realize just how addicted they are to scrolling, social media, and smartphones. If you're concerned you or someone in your life may be spending too much time online, scientists at the University of Surrey have developed a new internet addiction spectrum that categorizes internet users into 5 groups based on their online habits. All right, let's see here. Let's see what these 5 groups are. Buffering. All right, so here are the 5 groups. Casual users. Okay, casual users is the first. I gotta click the button 15 times to get it to move twice. That's I hate the internet. You know what? I hate the internet as I'm talking about the internet addiction spectrum. Casual users. All right, 14.8% of us are casual users. This is where we fall on the internet addiction spectrum. Casual users, these people mainly go online for specific tasks and log off without lingering. They show no signs of addiction and generally sway older. They average above 33 years old. They are the least interested group when it comes to exploring new apps. All right, casual users. There's a new app. Yeah, whatever. That's who they are. Initial users. This is 22% of us. 22% of us are initial users of the internet. This is where 22% of us fall on the internet addiction spectrum. Initial users, this group often finds themselves online longer than they initially planned and sometimes neglect household chores, but don't consider themselves addicted. They are moderately interested in apps and have an average age of 26 years old. Experimenters. This is the third of the 5 groups that we all fall into on the internet addiction spectrum. Experimenters, 21.9% of people fall into the category of experimenters. This group feels uneasy or anxious when not connected to the internet. Once online, they feel much better. Experimenters are more willing to try new apps and technology, and their average age is between 22.8 and 24.3 years of age. Next group number 4 on the spectrum of the internet addictions, internet addiction spectrum. Addicts, quote, in denial. So these are addicts who are in denial. This is 17% of people who play online. These individuals display addictive behaviors like forming new relationships online or neglecting real-world responsibilities in favor of staying online. However, this group also won't admit to feeling uneasy when not connected to the internet. They are also very confident when it comes to using mobile technology. All right, so 17% of us. How about addicts? All right, now here we go. This is the most extreme group on the internet addiction spectrum as created by Surrey University. So you've got, so let's go through them again. I'll give you all of them. Casual users, initial users, experimenters, addicts who are in denial, and now full-blown addicts. 22.36% of us are full-blown internet addicts. This cohort openly acknowledges that they are addicted to the internet and recognizes its negative impacts on their lives. They're the most confident at using new apps and technology. This group's time spent online is significantly greater than that of casual users. All right, so those are the 5 groups. There was a number here that I wanted to share with you that I thought was interesting about kids in the UK versus kids in the United States and how much time they spend online. Okay, here it is. According to this research, the average young adult in the United Kingdom spends about 6 hours daily online, primarily on smartphones. Older individuals above the age of 24, meanwhile, spend roughly 4.6 hours online. So it's kids under 24 in the UK are spending 6 hours online, and people over 24 about 4.6 hours online. Recent research focusing on Americans, on the other hand, found that young adults were spending 28.5 hours on their smartphones weekly in 2020. All right, so if in the United Kingdom, kids are spending 6 hours daily on their smartphones, 6 hours daily, that's 42 hours a week, right? 7 days, 6 hours daily, 7 times 6, 42. So that would be 42 hours a week kids are spending on their smartphones in the UK. In the United States, kids are spending 28.5 hours on their smartphones. Thought that was interesting. Why are we so less? Why are we? I mean, it's probably good, right? I don't know. Maybe it's not. Spin anything you want. All right. Also, let's see. Here's another little list that I got for you here today. Weed-friendly cities. This is a list here. You know, we always talk about the slow creep of legalization of marijuana. What cities in this country are weed friendly? What cities in this country are, you know, first of all, it's legal. They don't really care. You're not going to get in any trouble for it. Let's go through the list. These are the weed friendly cities. I'm going to give you the top 10 cities in America that are weed friendly. Are you ready? Number 10 weed friendliest city in America, Eugene, Oregon. Eugene, Oregon. Customer satisfaction rank, overall score 37. I don't know what any of that means. Whole bunch of stuff. Number nine, coolest weed city that's like totally cool with the weed. Number 9, San Diego, California. San Diego, California comes in at number 9. Number 8 is Torrance, California. Torrance, California. I don't know anything about Torrance, California. Don't know where it is. Number 7, Portland, Oregon. So far, have you noticed? Oregon and California are the coolest weed cities in America. Number 7 is Portland, Oregon. Number 6, Long Beach, California. We're back to California again. Long Beach, California comes in at number 6. Let's see, number 5, and these are most marijuana-friendly cities in America. Most marijuana. Number 5, Las Vegas, Nevada. Las Vegas, Nevada. Very friendly marijuana city. And why not? People go there. You know, people party. Number 5, Las Vegas, Nevada. Number 4, Santa Ana, California. Santa Ana, California. Number 4, weed friendliest city in America. I don't know where Santa Ana, California. Santa Ana winds, right? I've heard of the Santa Ana winds. I don't know anything more about it. Let's see here. Number 3, Denver, Colorado. You knew that Denver, Colorado was going to have to make an appearance here. They are the OG when it comes to legalized cities. Denver, Colorado legalized weed first, like back in 1850. No, I don't know. It was a long time ago, though. It was like 20 years ago. Denver, Colorado comes in at number 3. Number 2, weed friendliest city in America. How about Los Angeles, California? Hello. Los Angeles, California comes in number 2 and the friendliest weed city in America. What is number 1? The number 1 friendliest weed city in America, San Francisco. There you go. All California. All California and Oregon. I think Colorado was in there. You had Colorado represented with Denver at number 3. You had Las Vegas represented at Nevada, number 5. Everything else was California and Oregon. There you have it. Those are your weed-friendly cities. All right, let's see here. That's it. That's all I got prepared for us for today. So let me see. Hold on. Whoop. Bum, bum, bum. Let me jump over. Let's see if there's anything big happen. Matt Gaetz take a crap in his hand on the floor of Congress and then throw it at picture of Nancy Pelosi. I don't know. I don't know what's going on. Oh, you know what? Want to mention this. This was really shocking. I didn't expect this. So for those of us who appreciate Dallas-Fort Worth radio, we lost somebody yesterday. We lost Frito from the old Ticket. Remember Norm and Mark Friedman. Mark Friedman, who was Frito on the Ticket for, God, I don't know. I listened to him for 20 years. He died suddenly. Well, I shouldn't say that. I shouldn't say it was sudden to me because I wasn't aware of it. But I don't know if he was sick or not. But it was going around yesterday. I saw Ben and Skin wrote a really nice thing. And that young guy, really good at his job. Really good. Mark Friedman was really good. Norm, he was Norm's guy. Like it was Frito. I mean, so anyway, I wanted to mention that. I didn't know him well. Socialized with him a couple of times, met him, knew him to, if we passed each other, hey man, how you doing? Hey, good to see you, like that. Nice guy, really, really respected. Really, like everybody in this town knew that he was legit, that he was good at what he did and that he had earned, the respect that he had. Mark Friedman. All right, Frito died. There you go. I wanted to mention that. That's ooh, look what's trending. All right. Everything that says is good. All the things that are trending nationally right now are all things that we've talked about on this show. So that's good. McCarthy, Nev Campbell, Trevor Bauer. We just finished talking about Trevor Bauer. Chipotle. Look at this. Chipotle. People upset about Chipotle. Trump Tower. Why is Trump Tower trending? Say what you will. The man makes beautiful buildings. Let's see. Oh, is Trump Tower, because are they going to take Trump Tower away from him today? Is that after Trump Tower is seized, they should call the okay, whatever. We don't need it. So yeah, so Trump's in court, like business court in New York, where fraud. I'm not following it. I'm not following it because I don't care. I don't care. What? He's being accused of doing something? Yeah, he probably did it. Well, you don't think he? Come on, man. You don't think this guy? It's part of the reason you people love this guy is because he just doesn't care and he does it. So he probably did it. He's probably a fraudster. The dude sold meat through the mail, man. I mean, look, and I'm not getting political here. I'm just saying, this guy, they're gonna take his building. All right, so that's happening. What else? Oh, how about this? Here's something I wanted to talk about. Here's something that this needs to be discussed. Let me hold on a second. Let me just, because when I saw this, I was like, oh, I got to do a little research on that. I got to see what that's all about. And then I never did the research. So here we stand right now. So let me look at this real quick. Bump. Hold on. Give me a second here, folks. All right, here we go. All right, so I wanted to make sure that I had this right. So Dianne Feinstein, the senator from California, Senator Dianne Feinstein, died last week. Dianne Feinstein has left a treasure trove of almost $300 million. Dianne Feinstein, the senator from California, upon her death, apparently amassed a fortune of $300 million. This is why I took a pause here, because I just wanted to make sure that I didn't miss anything. Like I didn't miss the 10-year period in the 1980s where she ran IBM or operated a hedge fund or something that would explain why a woman who has been in civil service since 1955 has somehow, at the end of her run, amassed a fortune of $300 million. 1955, she graduated from Stanford and she was elected to the San Francisco board. That was the first thing she did. She never had a job. She went and she became a city clerk in San Francisco. She matriculated her way through city politics in San Francisco throughout the 1950s and the 1960s. And then when the mayor of San Francisco was assassinated, she became the mayor somehow. She became the first female mayor of San Francisco. She was young. Oh, look at her. Never had a job, never punched a clock, never actually ran a business, never did anything. She is now a woman in her 30s, and she's the mayor of San Francisco. Now, this is when being the mayor of San Francisco meant, hello, fabulous, right? The fabulous San Francisco emergence. It's the liberal capital of America. So she used that somehow to build herself into a governor's run. She ran for governor of San Francisco or of California. She lost that. All right, but that's okay, because in 1992, she then changed gears and she ran for senator, and she has been in the United States Senate since 1992. 1955, she graduates and becomes a member of the San Francisco Board of Elections, or whatever it is. Her first job as a clerk, 1955. She has been in San Francisco city politics. She has been in California state politics. She has been in senatorial politics since 1992. Where did Dianne Feinstein make $300 million? Oh, I want a forensic accounting of everything that this woman did. Are you kidding me? Somebody, earlier when I said they're not all bad, some of them are good. This is bad. This is a really bad look. $300 million. Dianne Feinstein made $300 million. Now, I keep saying that number because it's such an alarming number, and I should probably double check that. But even if it's $100 million, how did this woman, who since 1955 has been earning a taxpayer paycheck, how did she somehow come up with $300 million? Fuck. I mean, that should really make us all really angry. Every one of these dudes, McConnell's going to drop dead. Every one of these dudes are going to drop dead. I want to see what kind of fortunes they have amassed in their entire life as a civil servant. Because honestly, if Dianne Feinstein should die with maybe some reasonable investments, and maybe she did some smart, saving and all that stuff, she should maybe, if you told me Dianne Feinstein died with a net worth of $2 million, I'd be like, that seems about right for her. $300 million. Somehow this woman figured out a way, while drawing what, 70 grand a year taxpayer salary. Somehow that 70 grand a year is now she's dead, and there's a pile of $300 million. That drives me nuts. And no one's going to talk about it. No one's going to talk about it because, if you make that a big story, then suddenly this is going to become the next thing. So now when people die, we're going to start looking at how much money they left behind, and we can't have that, because then the whole system will be exposed for $300 million. Khalil Mack is trending. And why wouldn't he? He had 6 sacks on Sunday. I can totally see why the Bears let him go for like a 3rd rounder. He was washed. Don't need him. 6 sacks. That's crazy. That's crazy. There are dudes. There are dudes who will, go the whole season as premier edge rushers who won't have 6 sacks in the whole season. He got it in one game. Freaking guy, Khalil Mack. And Bosa wasn't even playing. Usually, you'd think he'd have a better opportunity if they're going to unbalance the line and you're going to have to double team Bosa. Somebody's going to be left free. No, with no Bosa out there. Khalil Mack got 6 sacks. By the way, I should also mention Kelly's Practical Picks. Kelly and I, my former partner, Kelly, the Pugs Kelly Show, we do Practical Picks where she picks a full slate of games every week. We record it on Wednesday evenings for that week. So the first week, we've done 3 weeks now. Was 3 weeks or 4 weeks? I don't know, whatever. 3 weeks? Yeah, I think we've done 3 weeks. Is it 3 weeks? I don't know, whatever. We've done it. A little touch and go. She lost the first week. Like she had more bad picks than good picks in the first week. Excuse me. That was a hiccup I was fighting off. So I was thinking, oh man, maybe this system doesn't work. She ran the table this week. Kelly's Practical Picks, man. Off the top of my head, I only know 2 games that she missed. Off the top of my head, she only missed 2 games. and one of them was last night. One of them, she had the Giants over the Seahawks, so that's a loss. And then she had the Bears over the Broncos, and so that was a loss. Those are the only two Kelly's practical pick segments. I think she ran the table this week. I mean, I think, well, with the exception of two, maybe three or whatever. But man, did she have a good week. I was going through because I pull up her picks as I watch the games and as I watch Red Zone. And I'm like, holy shit, holy shit. She picked that one. Holy crap, she had that one. Kelly's Practical Picks. You can find it there at radiomisfits.com. Every week we record it on Wednesday, and then it posts Thursday morning. So just get you out there before all the games. Thursday night's game, and then the whole weekend. All right. What else do we need? Anything else? Nope, I think that's it, guys. I think we're going to wrap this show up. I appreciate you being with me here on a Wednesday. We're going to come back tonight at 9 o'clock for Radio Misfits with myself and James Parker. We're going to get into some stuff there. Don't know what we're going to talk about. We'll see. Nope, don't want this. There we go. That's the closing theme. Thank you so much to today's executive producers, Mike D. and Byron. Thank you, folks. As of the start of this show, we are $170 short of our goal. Tip the show. Drop a little something if you can. If you can help, keep us going for another month. By the end of the show tomorrow, we need to know where we are. Ugga bugga. Ugga bugga. All right, I'll leave that up. Venmo, whatever. Drop a little something. You guys have a good rest of your day. We'll see you tonight at 9 o'clock, okay? Love y'all. Bye, folks. It has been a journey, a multi-answer test. I am on a never-ending quest. Tomorrow is another day. The best is yet to come. I have found a different way, so baffling to some. I have got an old guitar, that is all I need. I don't need no 401, I don't have the greed. Down the road I'll travel, far from the comfort nest. I am on a never-ending quest. Tomorrow is another day, the best is yet to come. I have found a different way, so baffling to some. I can smile a little now, things are going good. I always had to be on guard, that is understood. Down the road I'll travel, far from the comfort nest. I am on a never-ending quest. I am on a never-ending quest.